Yeah, we don't need this thing out here. It's useless. It's got no cell service. May as well just throw it in the fire. That was my phone. He threw my phone in the fire. Ugh. Where is it? Well, it doesn't matter. It's useless out here anyway. Okay, so it's Dan here. My call sign's Victor Echo 7, Victor Uniform. And I'm also Kilo 7, Delta Victor Sierra in the United States. And I'm making a video here mostly pertaining to communications in British Columbia, but it really can apply to anywhere in this Dominion or in our Republic. Um, so basically, there's three different categories I'd put it in. There's satellite comms, there's unlicensed radio services, and then there's licensed radio services. Because we all know your cell phone, once you get out of cell service, it's no good to you. But even for urban dwellers, if you're in an urban area, those cell phone towers and networks can go down very quickly, and I've seen them go down quickly. So it is, even if you're at like a music festival, for example, and there's a whole bunch of people all together, and all those cell phones in one place, your cell phone won't work. So it's a really good tool, something to have, and it's just we're trying to stress the importance of having communications tools in your toolkit. So anyway, some of the satellite services available is like your Spot Messenger, a satellite phone, even some of the new cell phones, the iPhones and stuff. Global Star, they've got some kind of satellite communications, but again, they're dependent on infrastructure, commercial infrastructure that can go down. It still has to go down to a ground station, and you have to pay a user fee for that. And one of the other things is with radios and radio communications, one of the principles is you're helping others. And with your Spot Messenger, and you're out in the bush somewhere with your Spot Messenger, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're really helping nobody except yourself and maybe the company that you're paying your subscription to. So I can actually tell you countless stories of how I've picked up on distress calls of guys out in the bush that need a hand, and I was able to help them, and I had the opportunity to help them, which was grateful to have that opportunity to help them, and really happy about that. I can remember one story where there was three young guys actually. They were stuck in their pickup truck. It broke down in sub-zero temperatures up a mountain, and they had no cell service, of course, but they had a radio that actually their dad put in the truck, and that's I picked up on them and I was able to give them a hand. So and there's many other stories. So anyway, you know. So there's those satellite options, and they're probably a good tool to have in your toolkit. But keep in mind they may not be super dependable. And if you're driving by me in your truck, and I need to advise you of something, or I need to tell you about a hazard or something like that, I can't do that if I don't know your cell phone number, right? You need with a radio that solves that problem. So there's another real life use example, and as far as unlicensed services, there's like Citizens Band Radio, the CB radio, and that's been around since the '60s. And there's limitations with that. It's only 4 watts, and then there's FRS radio, also very limited. But people do use CB radio quite a bit in the United States still. If you go up a logging road or a fire road, you'll see CB radio channels posted there. But up here in Canada, it's mostly, all the trucks and everybody's switching over to VHF radios. But unfortunately, in the United States, we do not have that capability. There's no VHF service. So then you move on to licensed services. There is like resource road radios, and there's also uh, amateur ham radios. And the resource road radios, it's like a standardized plan. Here in British Columbia, there's like 35 RR channels, and you can get a radio plugged in with those. And there is a license fee for that. It's like $42 a year or something like that. But as a side note, there's a lot of guys who run those radios that don't even bother having a license. Um, then the ham radio, that's kind of the best way to go because there's so much capability. You can run all kinds of modes, all kinds of things. We've got mountaintop repeaters that we can access, and really wide coverage. And in Canada, it's to get your basic license. There's a 100 question multiple choice test you have to take, and once you get it, it's good for life. And actually, you can use that in the United States and Canada, just like a driver's license. You can use it if you went down to the United States. And the United States, your basic license, you call it a technician license. It's a 35 question multiple choice test. And so it's pretty basic. It's not that hard to pass the test. And it's a really, really good thing to have. So yeah, basically the idea of this is just to, if you don't have some kind of radio communications in your arsenal or in your toolkit at the moment, to encourage you to get involved and do that, and show you what we got going on here in British Columbia. And we're just turning around here, just past the 3-kilometer mark. We're going to be heading back down Matthew Creek. What was your number there on Matthew?
Leaving 2.
All right, yeah, we're just heading south, just passing down number 3 here.
Okay, gotcha, no worries.
Thanks. Okay, so that was actually a good example. We were just up hunting on the road here and calling out some mile markers, and there was another pickup coming up, and you heard him call it some mile markers. It's a pretty narrow road and some big steep cliffs off the side. You wouldn't really want to become speeding around there and not know someone's coming up. And it is an active logging road. And also to note, the fellow there on the radio and the other pickup was pretty scratchy. You couldn't hear him very well. And later, after I turned off the video, the pickup passed, and I noticed he had no antennas on his vehicle. So that tells me he was using a handheld inside the vehicle. And we weren't that far apart, just a mile apart or something, and it was hard to hear him. So it's important to note that having a radio mounted in the vehicle for resource roads is a lot better than just a handheld. And here's a sign that you're going to see on the beginning of every resource road in British Columbia, and it's been standardized, right? So it says here Matthew Creek. So that's the name of the Forest Service road, and it says use RR4, but it also displays the frequency beside it, 150.185. So typically your radio is going to be programmed and it's going to say RR4, but there might be somebody that needs to know the frequency, so it does show it, and it shows you some directions. And each sign is going to have maybe some different set of directions of what the protocol is, but that's just an example, and it's been standardized in British Columbia, which is pretty neat. So and you just, before you go up the road, you can check it and see what it is, maybe do a radio check, and there you go. So this is an example of an FRS radio, and it's pretty much just a kid's toy. I would say they're half a watt. They're not that good. A lot of people have these already, but I'd say it's pretty much just a kid's toy. And but in the United States, it's a little bit different. There's a GMRS setup combined with FRS. There's some higher powered radios up to 50 watts. It's really advantageous. But up here in Canada, unfortunately, it's not that great of a tool. But a lot of people have them. Okay, so here's an example of a handheld or ham radio. It's just a handheld, but we have base stations, mobiles, everything. Here's an example of a commercial radio, and in here, you can see you got all your R channels in there and everything. But you can also program ham channels into one of these, so it's kind of all in one. Here's an example of a CB radio. You can hear all kinds of stuff. Skip coming in, 40 channels, right? License free for that. And then down here, here's a HF ham radio. So that's.
I guess I shouldn't say go Dodgers, huh? Okay, well, thanks for checking today, Bob. 7-3. And further stations from Nanaimo to Haidawai.
So that's worldwide communications on there. And, that's someone's coming in from Nanaimo and Vancouver Island, like maybe 500 miles from here. So yeah, here's an example of a typical VHF radio and a pickup with your RR channels on there. And then you got these LD channels. These are loading channels. But then there's LAD1. Actually, LAD 1, 2, 3, and 4, but LAD 1 stands for Logging Administration. It's become an unwritten rule that on all the blacktop on the highways, all the trucks run this, and you can find tremendous information. There's bad road conditions, animals, accidents. You wouldn't believe the information that you can get on there. Break LAD 1 for radio check. Anyone got a copy?
Broken up, but I got you over here, close to Joffrey.
Oh, you're in Jaffrey. Okay, yeah, we're out in Marysville here, so it's working good.
Right on, right on.
All right, thanks. Take care.
You bet.
So yeah, out of all the different services I've talked about, the license-free services and the licensed services, amateur radio or ham radio really is the best one if you can manage to go ahead and do that test. It's not that hard, and you know, we have so much options available to us. We can operate HF radios, VHF radios, UHF radios. We've got repeaters on mountaintops, and it's all put on non-profit by we the people. We're the ones who install and maintain these repeaters, and you can cover a very large area, and you're not reliant on any commercial infrastructure or telco companies. With HF, we can just take our signal and bounce off the ionosphere, and it'll bounce back down thousands of miles away, and it will work no matter what. So anyway, hopefully it will encourage you to get licensed. But if you can't get licensed yet, start out with one of the unlicensed services, CB radio. You got to start somewhere. Okay, so thank you for watching, and hopefully it'll encourage you to get some communications tools in your toolkit. Um, there's if you need assistance, you can always contact your local ham radio club. Also, my email is on my channel. You could always email me and ask. I'd be more than happy to answer your questions. I'm not going to tell you to subscribe because it's not my job to tell you what to do. But maybe I'd suggest that if you find this interesting, you could subscribe or go look at some of the other radio videos on my channel. Thanks, and 7-3.